When I was a teenager, my friend's older brother was one of the dumbest I'd ever encountered. We once witnessed him trying to see inside a motorcycle gas tank using a Bic lighter. He assured us a lighter flame isn't hot enough to ignite gasoline. On another occasion, we got into a debate concerning the power of an atomic bomb. He was dead set that it could only take out, like 2 houses max. This man went on to have multiple arrests before I moved away, also fathered 3 children by 2 women. We all lived in a trailer court as well. Not saying it's a prerequisite for idiocy, but some of us get out and some do not. Tell me your stories, guys. I once had a property manager, person in charge of the rental I lived in since homeowners who lived out of state, who did a bunch of obnoxious things. My husband and I thought she was greedy and maybe getting money for herself and hiding it from the homeowners for repairs or something like that because of shady seeming things she would do when we had repairs. Then we mentioned something about gardening. She said, "You know, I've always wanted to try growing tomatoes and just watering them with salt water. That way, the tomatoes would already be salted when you ate them." Huge reminder to never attribute to malice what is just pure old-fashioned being dumb as a rock. Tell me your stories, guys. Knew a guy in high school who I'm 99% sure only passed because he cheated like crazy and got tons of people to do his work for him. In grade 11 he was taking some kind of politics course and was writing some kind of essay on American politics. We're from Canada. I agreed to edit his essay and it was the most insane thing I ever had to edit. There were multiple sentences that I couldn't understand until I asked him directly. He ended his essay with the phrase, "just like Jesus would have wanted. I don't think he was Christian," and spelled Condoleezza Rice as Condoleezza Rice. Tell me your stories, guys. Guy the first worked with named Buddy bought a huge Snap-on rollaway toolbox for over $3,000 on credit. 2 days later, he sold it to a coworker for $1,500 because he had some overdue bills and had to pay them. Needless to say, he never paid Snap-on for the toolbox. He was off into the winds after he was fired for starting his 4th fistfight at work. One of the other guys I worked with told the Snap-on salesman where Buddy's new job was, and last we heard they are now garnishing his wages. Guy was a nutcase though. He had very thin skin and the slightest thing would set him off. He's go absolutely nuts when he was set off though. He yelled at the security guard and threatened to have him fired because he didn't like his tone. He almost got fired 3 times for fighting, but he was able to win the department manager over until the 4th time. Oh, and one time he was told to put caution tape across a malfunctioning gate and he said, "I don't know how." Tell me your stories, guys. This one lady at Atlanta's Beer, Bourbon and Barbecue Festival who clearly didn't know where she was. I'm getting started on this rack of ribs, quietly minding my own business with a glass of beer, when from the group in front of me this lady comes up to me and tells me how she can't stand the smell of meat, roasted or smoked, and tells me to get away from there. This is despite the fact that the event's name has barbecue in it and she had to pay $40 to get in. After she left, I had a good chuckle and face palm with another lady at the table, but God, I've never seen more stupid in my life. Tell me your stories, guys. My friend's father robbed a bank in a small town in Indiana where he lived. This was in the late 70s or early 80s. He spent 10 years in prison for the crime. The same day he was released from prison, he robbed the same bank again. He was caught and back to prison he goes. He did not learn in those 10 years not to rob any banks or anything in that matter. My friend was like, "This is what every father does," and did not seem shocked over it.
He may have wanted to go back. Some longtime inmates become institutionalized and have problems functioning in the outside world.
Tell me your stories, guys. I once called an Uber driver. When he arrived, he immediately asked me, "Are you going to X location?" I said, "No." He responded, "Great, because I'm not going to take you to X location." "Fine," I said. The journey got underway, and I was curious as to what he would have done if I'd said that yes, I wanted to go to X location. So I asked him, "Hey, what would you have done if I had said that I did want to go to X location?" He responded, "Look man, I'm not going to fucking take you to X location, okay? I told you already." I was a bit befuddled, but I tried again. No, I don't want to go there. In fact, you already know where I want to go, it's on your destination map. I'm just curious, what if I did want to go to X location? Would you have refused me the trip? Would you have driven off? He said, "Look man, I can't change the trip now. And anyway, I told you I refused to go to X location. You gotta understand I'm busy." We spent nearly 15 minutes with variations of this back and forth. He was a fluent English speaker, by the way. By the end of it, I was 100% convinced that he couldn't understand the syntax of a hypothetical. He literally couldn't understand the question. If X situation, which is not the case, then what action would you take? I wasn't even mad, just astonished. How had he navigated through life thus far? What were his financial decisions like? I really wanted to follow him home and make a reality TV show about him or something. Guy in my aircraft technician class. I'll call him Jim. The module at the time was about electrical power. We were having a review one Friday before the exam started. Earlier that week we had covered the batteries used on the aircraft, what types, how they were constructed, etc. Trainer turns to Jim and asks him about the different types, expecting him to say, lead acid, lithium ion, and so on. Nope. Jim thinks for a moment and says, AA, AAA, C. When we got to the hangar for work experience, the same trainer had lost all faith in Jim. We were all assigned jobs in the morning. Me and another guy on wings, couple more on landing gear, all down through the group. Then he gets to Jim. Placed an A4 sheet of paper on the ground and told Jim to stand on it so it didn't blow away. We all laughed, Jim included. The trainer was joking, right? He wasn't joking. Jim stood there all day. Tell me your stories, guys. A few weeks ago, my boss asked me to keep an older guy busy for the day because his crew leader was sick. I'm 36 and this guy is pushing 60. He is simply the result of too many bad choices. After telling him numerous times not to reach his fingers by the exposed table saw blade, I finally just got him to sharpen my pencils all day. 6 hours of pencil sharpening and he never once complained. Meth. Not even once. Tell me your stories, guys. This girl I used to work with before she got fired. One day she came to work with a broken arm and claimed her boyfriend pushed her during a fight and she fell. We all were super concerned for her until she came in a week later saying she stabbed her boyfriend in the hand during a fight to get back at him for breaking her arm. Then a few weeks later she told everyone she was secretly trying to get pregnant, because if she got pregnant her unemployed boyfriend would have to get a job and help pay rent. She got pregnant and her boyfriend immediately dumped her.
Phew, so many twists.
Tell me your stories, guys.